Has the weather gotten your attention yet? Yeah. It's getting colder, right? And we could pray all we want against the weather being cold like this, but God is mysterious in the way he works. And sometimes he's trying to get our attention. That's something we want to realize. Is God trying to get my attention? It doesn't just work through weather. Sometimes it works through circumstances in your life or those around you, right? So let's not go into denial here. God is saying something by making it colder and colder and colder and pushing people in their houses and make them stay in longer. What do you think he's trying to get your attention of, right? What is he trying to get a hold of you about? Because a lot of us act like we don't have time to hear God. I'm just too busy. I don't have time. 5 minutes? Oh, that's too much. No, I don't have time. And we will literally give 5 minutes to anything else. Okay? And what I want to say to us today is it's time to get rid of God. Okay? A lot of us are wondering why we haven't had answered prayers and why God is not blessing us in the way that we prefer, why things aren't going our way, etc., all that stuff, right? In particular about future mates, right? I know this is something we talk about on this channel. Where is my Boaz, right? And yet, there's sin. What do you mean? I know I'm a part of this group. I'm a part of this club. I have all these honors. I have all these degrees. I have all these mentions. I have all these recommendations on LinkedIn. I have 10,000 subscribers. It doesn't matter. Just like in marketing, it's just considered vanity metrics to God. It's nothing, because God sees past all those likes, all subscribers, and all these people that are cheering you on, and you doing all this great stuff for God's kingdom. You're in all these ministries, okay? Because God sees the heart, and if he didn't call you to do all those things, wasting time. And yes, we are on a time clock, if you didn't know, because Jesus, when he ascended, that's when we got on a time clock for the end times. We're on a time clock for Jesus coming back, and you have been in disobedience. Yeah, there's things that he's been trying to get a hold of you about, but your answer all the time is, I don't have time. Well, guess what? There's going to be a certain time when you'll literally have no time left. And that will be once the rapture already happened, okay? We don't want that. So we pay attention to videos like these to get our act together now, okay? It's better now than later, right? So what do we do here? Well, we sometimes have sins that are disguised as good deeds, right? Like serving at a church, because we do not know if God called us to do those things. Maybe we even started dating somebody because we felt, this is the Lord, and even missionary dating them, right? I think he's such a great guy, he has great potential. I'm going to date him, and he's going to fall in love with Jesus through me. Interesting, right? Or we moved to a different country. Maybe you're watching from a different country, and you thought this was God. He told me to go through missions, or a lot of things we're doing on our own, ladies. And men, if you're watching, we're doing on our own, that's on a whim. I feel to do this, so I'm going to do this. God is not included. He's not involved. So what does God do? He begins to get in our way with these little so-called inconveniences, and we shrug those off. Then the things get bigger. Now it goes from inconvenience to really a big disturbance in our life. Then it gets into bigger, if we keep ignoring him, to things like this. Okay, like there's literally a big wall of snow outside. So God will do different things to get a hold of us, to say you're going in the wrong direction, and this video is here to stop you. This person is here trying to warn you. Stop claiming to do things for Lord and I didn't put my name on it. Stop saying God sent me this man and you never asked me if he's for you. And when I try to give you warning signs through not feeling right, through a family or friend, through different red flags, you dismiss it because it's not that big of a deal. I could deal with it, right? What does the Bible say here? I want to give you something I learned today. This is crazy. It says, when we're reading Romans 8:16, I'm going to paraphrase this. When you live according to the flesh, you're going to die according to the flesh. But when you're living according to the Spirit, okay, because your flesh is supposed to be dead. By the time that you give into Jesus, it's supposed to be like you die. That's why we do baptism. Because when you get dipped down in the water, you're dying to self and you rise with Christ. Okay, so baptism is necessary. And so when you let God take over your life, that means the Spirit is living. You're feeding the Spirit. You're doing things that are righteous, right? So look at the fruits of the Spirit, and that will help you figure out like images of what is righteous behavior. But if it says that if you live according to the flesh, then you will die according to it. So you will not be new in Christ. You will not be following his way. Even though it looks like you are doing good things. But God's not pleased, and he didn't ask you to do those things, right? So it's not making sense. It says the world offers only a craving for physical pleasure. Okay? A craving for everything we see, and pride in our possessions. Okay? That was 1 John. And some of us are claiming to know Jesus. We wear a cross, okay? Dangerous. We wear a cross, and you still act like you don't know God with the tight clothes, right? You know, with always everything is hanging out with the clothes. You know what I'm talking about. You can't be so-called Christian baddie. There's no such thing. Yet I see this online. It's there, okay? Do you want God or not? It's just a reality. And he's not stupid. Like, he knows if you really want him. Give me a break. You can't keep hiding it from him. He knows already if you really accepted him when you said the sinner's prayer. Some people just say it just because it feels good to say, or maybe they just want to get over with because they feel pressured. Don't say it. Don't waste God's time. Don't do that to his son. If you don't want him, you don't want him. Okay, then. But if you're serious about Jesus, then you got to ask him to crucify your flesh. Lord, crucify my flesh. I hate it. You're supposed to hate it because it hates God. It's not for you, actually. So all those things that you do to feed it, whether it's pride, whether it's all types of temptations, really. And just to skip ahead to the point of it, a lot of us say we want a man of God, but our lifestyle does not reflect a woman of God, okay? That's what I'm trying to get to you. As you sit in today, as you're sitting and you're trying to figure out what to do, you can't watch enough TV to get away from it. You can't be on your phone long enough to get away from it. You can't sometime go to sleep long enough to get away from it. God is going to keep trying to get your attention until you respond to him and say, okay, I'm here. Tell me what it is, because clearly there's an issue. I haven't been in my relationship like that with you. I haven't been taking you seriously. I just want things from you. I'm not taking you seriously. I'm not even taking my faith seriously. And you come back at any moment. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry. Repent. Every time you sin, say, Lord, I'm so sorry. I repent of that. You're not supposed to just repent one time when you get saved. It's every time you sin. Yeah. Don't listen to what everybody else is saying. It's every time. This is very serious. And it's because you're respecting what Jesus did on the cross. He went through all that for you, and you sin again. So now you're supposed to repent and say, God, I am so sorry. Okay? Even Paul said, I hate doing the things that I do, and I still do it because I'm fighting against this flesh. As long as you're fighting against it, great. But don't put this stuff in front of you. Watch these movies that are clearly worldly relationships where they're already, in the person's house after the first date. Stop putting that in front of you. And then you'll stop acting it out, or stop thinking that that's okay with God. Well, at least we're in a committed relationship. Like, he's going to eventually marry me. Or we're both Christians, so where it's not that serious. Like, it's not that deep. No, it is that deep, because it's spiritual. So every relationship is that deep. Whether you want to accept it or not, it's that deep. It's that serious. So moving on, what about the books you're reading, right? I can't find one young adult romance book, and it's women's fiction too, that is actually clean. Otherwise, you gotta read some Amish fiction, right? I'm sure there's some clean books, but you understand my point. You're reading books that lead to temptation. Now you want a particular type of man. Oh, he raised my standards. You're never gonna get a man comparing him to a fictional character, and with every new character they make, your standards are raised even higher, and he has to be so perfect. Just get a robot, okay? It's not realistic. Even the robot needs to charge. It's not gonna work. I need you to really, if you really want God to give you a mate, for real, like, and it happened for you this year, you're gonna have to first take a relationship with God seriously. And it's time to start respecting yourself. So that looks like coming out of drugs, coming out of partying, coming out of friendships that are clearly bringing you down. Not, oh, I'll just hang out with her sometimes because she's kind of crazy. No, I had to cut her off completely. Am I telling you anything that I didn't do? No, I had to stop reading a lot of books. I had to stop watching a lot of movies, okay? You should really be watching the kissing scenes. I don't care. People are like, oh, well, that's for children, adults watch. You should not be watching that stuff. That's something that should have been intimate. It's supposed to be something that's private and sacred. Nothing's sacred in this world no more. And you sitting there watching that? No. So let it be like you're a kid. God says that the kingdom of heaven is like these children. He wants you to be innocent. Paul said to be innocent of things that are evil, right? What does that mean? You don't know much about it. You should be that person. I don't know what that is. The new rapper, I don't know about her. What is that new slang word? I don't know about that. I don't do that. The new club, the new drink, the new this, that. I don't know. Why? Because not I'm like in my house all day reading the Bible. It doesn't mean you can't have fun, but you're in the Word enough that you know what type of fun God approves of, and that you can look for healthy relationships, and you actually attract healthy relationships, and that you want to know God for Him and not just what He can give you. That's all we're saying today, ladies. As you're weathered in, you're in the house, enough of the movies, enough of the rom-coms, enough of, just sitting back in your pajamas or your sweatpants. It's time to sit up and grab that Bible because God has been trying to get your attention. I'll see you next time.